Surrounded by Idiots Book Summary. A book looking for a social and practical life. More easy and smooth. So, review the different styles of human beings, and how can you understand yourself and understand others to finally interact with life easily? In some cases, the people around us are fools, so understanding human behavior is important, and it is a never-ending process to know what lies behind the actions of the person from reasons. The author of Surrounded by Fools is Thomas Eriksson, a Swedish writer and behavioral expert, and he has other books. Surrounded by mentally ill people, this book answers dozens of questions, including the following: why are we the way we are? How do you recognize a true leadership person? How do you avoid standing in his way? How do you recognize the person who wanders in the fantasy world? How can you bring it back to reality? How can you learn new things? Why is change so difficult for everyone? How do you deal with change? How does one use what you learn? Why is the way you move so important? How do you look right? How can you understand everyone you meet? How do you deal with foolish people? And the fool in Eriksson's view is every person who is not like you, and other questions answered by Tams in his book Surrounded by Fools. The book contains a simplified explanation of the four personalities and how to link the four personalities and body fluids, as well as a simplified explanation of some body language signals and their connection to the four personalities. This is what we will present to you with a review of some quotes from the book. Watch the video till the end. And before starting the summary, do not support us by subscribing to the channel, pressing like, and writing your opinion about the book in the comments box. Surrounded by Fools Book Summary. Speaking takes place on the listener's terms. This may sound a bit strange, but the fact that you will discover is that every phrase you say rarely reaches the listener with the same meaning that you have in mind. You can't control it, he understands. I was with you, however, many people are aware of and are very sensitive to how they want to be treated. Mostly, you need to develop your flexibility so that you can change and adjust your communication style if you talk to someone different from you, and in order to be able to understand me around you. It is not right to establish your communication method based on your own preferences, because the majority of those around you differ from you in needs. System introduction. Behavior patterns were divided into 4 categories, and each category is related to the color of water, and it will become clear to you how you can identify it. There are 80% of people who have more than 2 colors that dominate their behavior, and 5% deal with only 1 color, and everything we mentioned dates back to an era BC, and to the father of medicine Hippocrates. He believed that our mood is the primary way we react, and he believed that health is good if the 4 fluids are balanced, and we can relate the 4 colors of behavior and body fluids. For the red personality has an excess of yellow juice, because it is very angry and intense, while the blue personality has an excess of black juice, because it is gloomy and melancholic, while the yellow personality has an excess of blood, so it is cheerful and optimistic, and the word synonymous with bloody hiccups. And finally the green character, which has an excess of phlegm, and phlegm, it forms nothing more than mucus, and mucus is sticky, so we can classify a green person as cool and calm. In this summary, we will focus mainly on individual colors, because they represent the basic components of an individual's personality. Green or green behavior with another color is the most common, while the least common is red or red behavior with another color. Red behavior. This type of personality was called the angry name in the past, but now it is called the bold, impulsive, or dominant personality. He is a dynamic, enthusiastic person with ambitious goals that others see as impossible even in imagination. The red person always strives for progress, always pushes himself hard, and never gives up. And you can identify the owners of the red personality through other patterns, such as speaking in a loud voice and making a lot of effort to explain something, as they are the first to answer the question and make judgments on an entire country through what they see on television only, in addition to being frank, and also they cannot sitting in a place for a long time, because life is short and there is no time to sit in their eyes. Examples of red personalities: Margaret and Barack Obama. Yellow behavior. This type of personality was called an optimist in the past, and we can describe it as cheerful, with a bright outlook on life, or a man of possibilities. They are a group of people who live to live and find opportunities for enjoyment. There is nothing to be sad as long as the sun is shining somewhere, and they talk all the time, and this kind of person answers questions asked and not asked. Be while telling a story, he is distinguished by his constant positive attitude, which makes it impossible for him to feel upset for a long time. And people with a yellow personality are the most popular among colors, as they are characterized by quick decision-making, but without logical thinking, just because they felt that the right decision. Including Oprah Winfrey, Rob Williams, and green behavior. The green person is the most widespread type, and you will see it in all places, and it is the average of all other colors, and the most balanced, and the owners of this personality were called quiet in the past, and they can be described as calm, slow, and simple, while the owners of red and yellow personalities exert all their energy. You find green people calmer. People with a green personality represent the good in this land, and every time you ask them for help, they respond to the call, and they greatly sanctify relationships, so they cling to those around them, and they care about everything that concerns you if it is in your life, and they are the best listeners, and they are good at teamwork. Examples of people with a green personality are Mr. Rogers, Gandhi, and Michelle Obama. Blue behavior. People with a blue personality analyze and arrange everything around them, so you find them calm and organized, and they have all the right answers without getting carried away with merchants, and they always put things in the right place in a certain order, but they are somewhat pessimistic and realistic, as they see mistakes and risks, and they are dark and closed in on themselves. And the blue person rarely believes that he has many truths, or he asserts that the book contains too many pages, as there is nothing superficial in his point of view, just as those with a blue personality are very careful and think about safety first, and their examples on the ground are cold and bad. Body language. It shows colors and different types of body language. In addition to everything you say and do, you show a certain type of body language to those around you, and they pick it up and use it to interpret your mood. Body language means all forms of nonverbal communication, the words you use on a daily basis, and there are signals certain body language that you can refer to in the body language book summary. You will be able to link it to the description of the video, but we will address a simplified part of it here. A relaxed look means self-confidence, and vice versa. A contraction means isolation and frustration. Evasive eyes mean that someone wants to be somewhere else. When you close your eyes, it means you need to think. While shaking hands, a relaxed handshake means that its owner is characterized by the submission of his personality. But if it is fixed, then it indicates that the person is determined, and we can easily detect the lie by observing that the person puts his palm on his chest when describing him as a liar and shouts in indignation, saying, "Am I lying? How can you say that about me?" Just as the space between people determines their relationship with each other, proximity is a guide to intellectual rapprochement, or in relationships, this will also not be the case for the cultures of the countries. Quotes from the book Surrounded by Fools? Here are some of the most notable quotes and excerpts from the book Surrounded by Fools. If a task is not worth doing right, then it is not worth doing at all. And don't forget this, according to the blue person's values, silence is positive. If you have nothing to say, keep quiet. A wise person once said, "Just because you're right, doesn't mean I have to be wrong." We should be able to observe and consider forms of behavior without being air psychologists, since everyone can observe and observe those around them. We have to learn to listen, act, speak up, think, do what's right now. Everyone can adapt. It's not a big deal. You're just doing my job.